So far, we have been focusing on cost entries. Now as we enter job-related information in AR, we are shifting focus to the billing side of PJC. All transaction types entered in AR can be job-related. Let's start with invoice entry. We start by creating a new batch and entering an invoice and selecting a customer. All document types are able to be job-related in AR invoice entry. Remember that based on the project type and accounting method, some projects can be billed on an item invoice, while others can only be billed on a summary invoice. For this entry, we'll start with a summary invoice. As with all other modules, to make this entry job-related, select the job-related checkbox. The detail lines change to allow for the entry of contract project category details. You can select any open contract project category to enter a transaction. Of course, as contracts are assigned to customers, only this customer's contract will appear in the contract finder. Based on the accounting method of the project, you may or may not be required to enter a category. Only those accounting methods that look at costs at the category level for billing will require a category. Some of these accounting methods include accrual basis, billings and costs, and category percent complete. Accounting methods that look at total costs across all categories in the project will only require the project to be specified. These accounting methods can include project percent complete, total cost percent complete, and labor hours percent complete. Resources are optional here for both standard and basic project styles. For summary invoices, you simply enter a lump sum amount in the amount column. Once you have entered your details, you can save the entry. For an item invoice, the same steps apply, except that we can enter more details in our detail lines. However, only time and material projects and fixed price projects with accrual basis or billings and costs accounting methods can be selected to be entered on an item invoice. For these entries, standard projects will require a resource. You can then select an AR item number, quantity, and unit price for the entry. Once you have entered your details, you can save the entry. A few words of caution here. You can manually bill customers for PJC costs here in Accounts Receivable, but any projects that require item billing will not include amounts manually billed here in AR when the billing function is used in PJC. While actuals will be updated in PJC, if you use the PJC billings function, you may end up double billing clients for these projects. All other projects will include amounts manually billed here when using the billing function in PJC. Also, fixed price projects can only be billed up to the fixed price, and that includes any manual billing entered here in AR. Finally, while you can have both job-related and non-job-related invoices in a single batch, you cannot have both job-related and non-job-related details on a single invoice. Sage Accpac does not allow for mixed entries in AR. On posting the batch, actuals for the contract, project, and categories are updated in contract maintenance. Receipt entries also affect PJC, depending on the type of receipt. Just as with invoice entry, you can enter job-related receipts the same way you enter normal receipt entries. First, for a receipt against an outstanding invoice, in the detail lines showing the outstanding invoices, there is a column showing whether the invoice is job-related or not. If the invoice is job-related, the receipt becomes job-related. For partial receipts, you can allocate receipt amounts to specific jobs by selecting the apply method to be used. Or, you can manually enter partial receipt amounts by clicking the Jobs button. A job-related receipt only updates and affects statistics in PJC. Prepayments can be job-related by selecting the job-related checkbox and entering contract project category details by clicking the Jobs button. Finally, miscellaneous receipts can also be job-related by selecting the job-related checkbox. When this is done, the detail lines change just as on an invoice entry, allowing you to enter contract, project, and category details. Of course, this will update both statistics and actuals. Again, once the batch is posted, PJC is updated with the receipt entries. Finally, you can enter adjustments against job-related entries in AR. Within AR, there are two types of adjustments that can be made: reallocation of amounts or write-offs and additions. Both of these can apply to job-related transactions and so would affect PJC actuals. On the finder for the document number, there is a column that can be added to show whether the document is job-related or not. Once a job-related document is selected, the detail lines will change to allow for contract project category details to be entered. You can use the Select Detail button to select the detail line as entered on the original document. You can then adjust amounts by either debiting or crediting the document by entering a positive or negative quantity. This would be a write-off or top-up adjustment. For example, you are writing off an amount owing on an invoice by a customer due to bad debt. For a reallocation, you can add a second line and enter the new contract project category details. You can use this transaction type if you have incorrectly coded the wrong contract project category on the original document. Once you have entered your adjustments, you can save the entry and post the batch. On posting, actuals are updated in PJC. You can select to print job-related details for all transactions in AR transaction reports, including batch listings and posting journals. You can also view job details using the Customer Activity window by clicking on the Jobs button for job-related entries. You have completed this topic on entering PJC transactions in other modules. You have learned how to enter job-related transactions in other Sage Accpac modules, and understand the transaction flow from other modules to PJC. You can now proceed to the next topic, PJC periodic processing and retainage.